So you've decided to start building a custom mechanical keyboard, which is great. But then comes the next question. Which switch should you get? With so many options in the market now, it can be tough to find for the right switch for you. In a bid to make it easier for you to make a decision, we will walk you through several types of switches available in the market now. These include linear, tactile, clicky, and even silent switches. Now let's get to it, shall we? First up, we have linear switches, which is arguably the most popular switch option in the custom mechanical keyboard scene. As its name suggests, a linear switch offers no feedback at all throughout the downstroke, which gives a linear feeling. With this in mind, the best linear switch in the market now offers very smooth downstroke that is free of any scratchiness. This is the very reason why a linear switch is my personal favorite. If a linear switch sounds like the right option for you, you will be happy to know that there are a ton of options in the market now. These include Gateron Ink Black, Novakeys Cream, though you do have to break it in and lube it to bring out the best of the switch, as well as JWK or Durox range of switches including the Cobalt Palm, C3 Tangerine, and of course the popular Alpaca. Next, we have tactile switches, which are also quite popular in the mechanical keyboard scene. Unlike a linear switch, a tactile switch offers a noticeable bump as you press down on the switch. Once you feel the bump, it means you have actuated this switch, so it's perfect for those who want a more accurate typing experience. Personally, I do prefer a linear switch over tactile because when it comes to a tactile switch, you do need to exert a little bit more force to overcome the bump, and this slows me down compared to the linear nature of a linear switch. So make of that what you will when you are choosing between these two switches. But if a tactile switch is what you want, then we highly recommend the Gazoo Boba U40 Toki, which is arguably one of the best tactile switches in the market now. We actually have a video review of this switch which should be on the screen right now, so click on that if you want to learn more about this switch. Alternatively, there is also the Glorious Panda, which mimics the very popular Holy Panda switch quite a bit, and we have a review of this which we will link in the description box down below. And then we have clicky switches, and if you're a fan of this switch, we have bad news because unlike linear and tactile switches, there are not as many clicky switches in the custom mechanical keyboard scene. Basically, a clicky switch is similar to a tactile switch in the sense that both of these switches have a tactile bump. But a clicky switch also has an audible click when you've actuated the key. Now, I was actually a fan of clicky switches, but as I built more custom mechanical keyboards, I want to preserve the sound profile of the boards that I get. And using a clicky switch just masks the sound profile of the board, and that is not something that you usually want in this particular hobby. Of course, if you still want a clicky switch, there are a number of good options in the market now. These include the Kale Box White, which is my personal recommendation, as well as the Kale Box Jade if you want an even louder click, if that's what you want out of your keyboard. Last but not least are silent switches, which are available in linear or tactile form. Obviously, there are no clicky silent switches because then it is not a silent switch. Anyway, a silent tactile or linear switch is very similar to the non-silent parts, but usually the stem of these switches have dampeners to mute out the upstroke as well as the downstroke. This makes for a quiet typing experience, but because of the presence of these dampeners, certain silent switches do have slightly less travel, which could be a deal breaker to some folks. Nonetheless, a silent switch is ideal for those who want the absolute quietest keyboard that they can build. Some noteworthy silent switches include the Gazoo Boba Gum Silent Linear Switch, as well as Gazoo's Boba U4 Silent Tactile Switch. If you've got a deeper pocket, you can also consider Zeal PC Xylent V2 Silent Tactile Switch or the Helio V2 Silent Linear Switch. Do keep in mind that Zeal's products cost quite a bit more money than its competition because Zeal's positions its products as premium offerings, so some folks think that it is not worth it to pay so much more, but it is your decision to make. And that is it for this video. If we help you guys decide on what switch to get, consider leaving us a like and subscribing to our channel. As always, stay tuned for more good stuff to come here on this channel and nightshift.com.